Oh my gosh, time warp. So, sorry the video ended a moment ago. I ran out of space on my device. I'm going to try to make this quick because I was starting to wrap it up anyhow. Um, you can love the person who's still inside there fighting behind the disease to be helped, fighting to be helped, although they are behind the disease, which masks their efforts at times. Uh, who's still in there fighting behind the disease to be helped and taken seriously, but also feel that they may not be able, or they may not be taken seriously if they do ask for help, because possibly of the disappointment they've um, felt from others when they may have failed before. They also are very disappointed in themselves. This is not all about other people. I talk about other people a lot of times, and some of this is personal to me, and a lot of this is just general information that I think is great to have out there for people with mental health and comorbid diagnoses. Um, so, they, if someone feels that they can't ask for help because they won't be taken seriously, they may not ask for help. They may feel like if they relapse once, it would be seen as a massive failure. And again, I'll say that a relapse is not a failure; it's just a relapse. Continue taking the recovery seriously, and that's all it will be, is a relapse. It's as big of a deal as you make it, and if others around you are making it a big deal, tell them. You know, a lot of people relapse and it's part of recovery. I apologize that this happened, but this happened to me and I'm disappointed in myself. Make sure that people around you who are helping you understand that, because a lot of times there can be resentment regarding whether or not they see your efforts as real. Things are not going to turn out the way that you or anyone helping you is going to view it. It's going to be very difficult. It's a difficult recovery. Recovery is very difficult, and there may be some other underlying things that you have to address. So, um, uh, like I said, if there's a relapse, all you got to do is say, okay, we can get past that because it's so common, and just take it as seriously as it needs to be, but not overly serious. Um, it is not a failure outright, not at all. The person you know is still inside there. Even after recovery, they may seem to act different, but they're very guarded. They may claim to see the world differently, or but they may get told they've fried their brain, and I'm sure that happens to some people. But when someone is so sick, they feel like they could die, or after suffering for so much, for so long, and are finally able to communicate intelligently, like after recovery, and possibly after some post-acute withdrawal syndrome. I'll talk about more about that later. It's called PAWS, PAWS. Um, but you know, the stigmatization of people who have been recovered is real. Are in recovery is real. A lot of times they just don't get taken seriously by parts of society in general because they've had that struggle in life, and it is a stigma that it shouldn't be. Um, so treated differently, as if getting sober wasn't going to be so hard after all, with their Nike-esque platitudinous advice of just quit, or just cut down and do it slowly, or 100,000 other ideas that I can guarantee you that addict has already thought of. They've got a lot of time to think about how can they fix this problem. Trust me. Trust me. So, I use the word platitudinous a lot. I don't mean it in an offensive way. I mean it in a way where all of this is coming from the view of the addict. Um, I will say things that are not necessarily politically correct or comfortable, but they are the things that I believe truly do need to be said. And they may be uncomfortable, but they are true ideas, especially for those with mental health, like I've been reiterating. So, the ideas of you can just cut down or something like that, or there's some idea that you haven't thought of. Like I said, I guarantee you that addicts already thought of it or tried it. I know people mean well when they offer these bits of advice. They really do mean well, but they have no idea what it's like. It is not their fault. It's important to remember that, and if it's possible for them to see a video like this, it is also important for them to remember that it's very difficult on the addicted person, on the addict as well. They want love. They don't need you to fix them, but they do want some support, realistic support, you know. And if you see they're trying, please give them support, because that's the best time to do it. I mean, if they say they're going to do it, support them. Just flat out do it. Addiction must be taken seriously as a medical and often mental health issue that it is, and it should be addressed as such. You wouldn't tell a person with a serious medical problem how they're such a disappointment for not being able to get well, or get mad at them for not doing it right. Maybe they didn't take the medication that worked for your great-grandpa or your